Now, see that I probably wouldn't have gave her space for that though.
But no,
No.
it's like that's a thing I'm big on. Like I love communication. I want you to be able to communicate what it is, and it's like now kids don't like they do not communicate well. Well, I'm not gonna say all. Some of them don't.
What you mean they don't communicate well?
They cry.
I'm more of like a non-confrontational type of person, and I just like hated it, and it forced me to grow.
My baby is my greatest blessing, but she's also the biggest change I've ever experienced in my life.
Old lady cleaning the bathroom, and we're just like, oh, we got a maid, like really, you're not my roommate. She was my roommate.
I do need for him to, be able to control his emotions and control himself and not just want to pop off.
I need to know that you got me. If something goes down, I don't need you pushing me towards the danger.
I don't know if it was like a big lizard or a little iguana.
It got me. It ate me. We're done because I'm passed out.
Yeah. But she was just mad because he asked her to clean up.
Now, see that I probably wouldn't have gave her space for that though.
But no. It's like that's a thing I'm big on. Like I love communication. I want you to be able to communicate what it is, and it's like now kids don't like they do not communicate well. Well, I'm not gonna say all. Some of them don't.
What you mean they don't communicate well?
They cry or they throw tantrums, and it's just like you can't tell me what's wrong. You just want to get mad or whatever. No, I need you to tell me what's going on, so I can help or so we can, walk you through it. But you crying and throwing a tantrum, like that's not helping neither one of us.
So here's the thing, right? I think there's a fine line, although I'm not the gentle parent type. But I think, telling a kid to calm down and to not to control their reactions to whatever emotion they're having is it's not really fair. It's like almost like saying, like when I'm crying and I'm having a breakdown, well, I'm a fully grown woman. And sometimes I cannot get myself together,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm mature. So why would I expect for my 6-year-old to be able to be logical enough in a state where she's emotional to be like, stop that crying? Or, not allow her to feel what she's feeling.
Yeah, and that's true, but it's like at some point you should be able to verbalize what it was that had you feeling that way. But sometimes kids don't even know. Like if you go automatically to this thing, this is what you do, or this is how you react to show your emotion, that's not gonna help you. And it's just like if you're out, like if the minute somebody do something to you, you just cry. Like for one, you don't even know why you're crying. You just know, okay, I'm crying. Maybe I'm gonna get my way, or maybe whatever. No, like tell me what's wrong. And if you're in a situation or you out in the public and you crying and you can't even tell somebody, hey, I'm lost. Can you help me find? You're gonna continue to be lost. So it's not saying how you feel is invalid. Like I want you to be able to express your emotions, but on top of it, you should be able to tell me something to be able to help you. Because you can cry and cry and cry, but then after you cry, the problem is still gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't look at it like that though. Yeah, but I do think that is interesting. Like, I don't know why the kids don't communicate as much now. And I guess I'm not really around a lot of smaller kids, so I haven't paid attention to it. And I don't know. But I remember like when Melissa was younger, she only threw one tantrum and she got a whipping for it. And I don't know any other way to handle that. Like, in that moment of the tantrum, how else could it have been handled to? Because I'm sure it's because she didn't get something that she wanted. Like, so it wasn't anything like, oh, this hurt my feelings. This was more like, I just want this. And we was in the kitchen, so I'm sure it had something to do with food, I'm guessing. And I don't like just thinking it out of my mind in this scenario. What other way could it have been handled? If somebody tell you no, you should not think it's okay to act out in that type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know a good way to handle that.
And so I think probably what I do a little more than my mother ever did. I mean, she had 4 kids. She ain't got time to be explaining everything to everybody. You do what I said. And so I think for me, I try to explain to Carrington probably more than I should, like why something doesn't make sense or why something is not going to happen right now. Doesn't mean that it's never going to happen, but right now is not the appropriate time or whatever, but I also have been actively trying to work on like ways of helping her calm herself down, so that she can bring it back to center or whatever you want to say. Not that I say like you need to stop crying, but like literally, Carrington, like sit and breathe
Mm-hmm.
and like figure out a way to calm her down so that we can have a conversation.
Yep,
Yeah.
that sounds like a good technique.
Well,
I mean, because I mean, I don't know. I feel like on the other end of it's kind of like, I think it's one of those things in parenting that's kind of like, you just had a long day at work. You know, you want to cut your boss out. Traffic was horrible. You got to go home and cook. And now you have this real life situation and you have to have patience every single time. And it's like, the consistency and trying to continue to remain consistent, like it's like you try, but I think it's one of those things of just being a parent that is kind of like, it's real life. Like this is real life. It's not always gonna work out like you would hope it do. Even if you follow those steps, like
mm-hmm.
she
Very, very
still
true.
has a choice to be like, I'm going to accept this and it's gonna work. Or she may have had a bad day and she's like, I don't feel like coming down. So now she want to take it up 10 more notches. So it's just like
And that has
working.
happened too.
Right. Working with both of y'all being in those spaces and just being consistent with it, I think is like one of the biggest challenges with just parenting and, doing what's best for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Because just doing it regularly can be a lot. It is, I mean, it's life. We do what we have to do.
That's right. Absolutely. And like I said, it doesn't always work, but I do find myself being more prone to that response than, the quick, hey, chill out, girl. Like, because I'm not the gentle parent, but there are some things that I do try to be mindful of the fact that she, regardless of her being sick, she has feelings and she wants to express those feelings just as much as I feel the need to express mine.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And I think that's what we're starting to focus on more in this generation. I feel like, or in this time, not generation, this time. I feel like we're focusing more on being the best that we could do as opposed to like maybe how things were years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh yeah, because my mom in a minute she will hear parents and cutting up and she would be like, girl, I would spank her and she would stop it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
then you think about it, like how much trauma did we go through with that? Like, did we even have?
I feel traumatized, to be honest with you. Like I just don't. And I didn't get them very often because I did not like that. Like you weren't gonna get too much. My mouth was my biggest problem. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, like I didn't want to be getting in trouble. I didn't. Um, but I don't feel traumatized. Like stuff like that didn't stick with me like that.
And see, I guess for me, I always communicate it. And that's probably why I did get in trouble a lot. Because I did, I said what I felt. Like it probably caused me
Same.
whipping, but I said what I felt. So I think for me, that's why I'm like, if you're crying, I don't know how to help you. And then if you can't even, begin to tell me what it is, like clearly, I saw somebody snatch a toy, but I need you to be able to tell me, because that's going to help you to come to terms with your feelings. Because if not, when you get in the real world, you ain't going to be able to cry every time your boss do something you don't like, or this person don't, do anything, because these kids are cruel now.
That's so very true.
So I think it is a difference, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know, because I feel like we was getting communicated to while you was getting a whooping.
I don't know about that part now.
I did.
What'd you say? You did what?
Get communicated to while you was getting a whooping, because you're gonna get an explanation as to why you're getting the whooping that you're getting, why you getting it.
No, it was more like, didn't I tell you?
Yeah.
You should have did it the first time.
Yeah, that was the communication.
Yeah.
Shut up before I give you something to cry about. So that was the understanding, that I did not shut up when I was told to get up, or whatever it was. Let me know. That probably wasn't the best idea of whatever I was doing.
All right.
Yeah.
But it
And
was no explanation to Car. Please do not do this, because this will be the result. It will not work out in your favor. Gloria ain't explaining none of that. Not when I was little. But I mean, things evolve, because I think the more my mom hears me say stuff like, that's not my approach, or, like I said a little while ago, my mom had 4 kids, and she's always like, well, I did it with 4. Me and you not the same. I wasn't built for that. So, I think I used to say that to her a lot when Carrington was younger, is that, you can't expect me to, you know, she thought I should be running in circles because I only had 1. So what? And I did it with 4. So what's your excuse? We just are not the same. The expectations should not be the same. We get what we can handle. I'm gonna handle this one.
Plus, I feel like, like the way your mom, raised you, you're trying to do it differently. Not just you, but like, most parents, we're trying to do it differently than how our parents raised us. And so it's kind of like it takes, I would say it takes more effort. I think we're more thoughtful with the parenting now. So that takes more mental effort. So for them, they did it one way and it worked out, good for the way they did it. But because we are trying to do it a different way, it's just not, it just takes more effort, in my opinion, to not be like, because I'm the parent and because I said so. Like,
Right.
when you're doing more talking, it takes a lot more. So yes.
Yep. And that's what I'm learning now. I think for me, I always thought when people tell me no, like you have to give me a reason. And it's just like like those videos be like, no, it's a complete sentence. Like I feel like, no, you gonna have to help me to understand why. They don't have to help you understand nothing. Like no is no. And like the video I saw, he was like, well, I mean, it's not gonna change my answer. So what's the point of me going into detail as to why when my answer is still gonna be no?
And just to
So
clarify, you're talking about when you're talking to other adults. Just make sure
yeah.
everybody know.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I'm just like you. I had to learn that too, and I'm still learning it. Like, it's no. Yep. And that's it. Like, you don't need an explanation. It's like, it's me. It's my personal space. It's my personal thoughts. It's my time.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
And I guess that's why I think I've heard, I don't know, experts say it's good to allow kids the opportunity to say no so that they can build that within them to know it's okay to say no and to be able
Yeah.
to use their voice. Because I'm sure as a kid, I was not able to say no to like anybody.
Nope.
Were you, Tagar?
Um, to certain people, like, my grandparents, my, you know, it, aunts and uncle or whomever, and probably my teachers, but
Wait, you could say no to them?
I couldn't.
Uh,
No, but regular people, yeah, like no, I wasn't raised like that. Now, I will say this. We go to church, and so I don't necessarily Carrington doesn't have to, like, she has to say hi to everybody, but she doesn't have to give anybody a hug that she doesn't want to give a hug. She doesn't have to give anybody extra attention because that's what they are asking of her. Whereas like sometimes if you're at church, a parent will say, "Oh, give somebody so a hug," or go give her a kiss on the cheek. No, if you don't want to do that, you do not have to do that.
So
If you
do
say no
she?
to that, well, that's what it is.
So does your daughter just walk away, or are you there to make sure that the person knows, or what?
I think it's been established now that Carrington is gonna say hi to everybody because we're always gonna be respectful. But I think people know now, like if she fools with you, she fools with you, and if she don't, she's gonna say hi and she's gonna keep it moving.
Yeah. I think that's something that should really be taught to and should be okay that, kids pick up on things and if they don't want to do something, don't do it. I feel like when I was younger, like I couldn't say I didn't want to hug and I didn't like that. Even today, I don't like just hugging and like, people just touching me and the kissing on the cheek. I hated all that. But I don't think I could have said no though.
Oh, she
right.
absolutely can.
Yeah, no.
And I should be like, well, Carrington is funny like that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. I mean, she has her ways like her mama.
What do you think, Shanita?
Well, I think now, like, it kind of goes back to it's a different time. I think when we was growing up, it was like a sign of disrespect, but now it's like it's just accepted. So it's just different.
Wait, but does that mean you like believe that that's what's your opinion on it? Meaning, like, do you think it's okay for kids to be able to say no in those situations?
Like, I think it wasn't until we actually had a conversation. I forgot what show it was, but we talked about it kind of briefly before, and I think I didn't realize it until that point. And I think now, when I do have kids, I will allow them to say no. Like, because I think we talked about sharing how it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
option for us. Like we just had to go ahead and share. But how is that fair? They saying my time or my feelings is invalid because someone else wants something. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely will allow them to say no because that's your right. That's your opinion. Like, I shouldn't have to force you to feel a certain way just because that's going to make somebody else feel happy or make them feel comfortable. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, then okay, that's you. And I think that, goes a long way because it's even with adults. Like, so often we do things to please somebody else or to make them feel better, but it doesn't make us feel good. So what makes a child any different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Well, this was the after show. So we hope that you enjoyed it and you got some information out of it. And if you have any more information, just leave it below or hit us up on all of the social media platforms or email us at the Melanated Opinion. And that's at the Melanated Opinion on the social media platforms as well. And thank you so much for watching.